Russian Olympians finally have something to smile about after the International Olympic Committee gave 271 athletes the green light to go to Rio. However, the latest ruling from the IOC, from the Court for Sport, I should say, may open the door for even more Russian athletes to compete. Up to a dozen of them are still appealing against the IOC ban, which the court slammed as illegal. It says only the international federations in each sport should decide the fate of the competitors.
The IOC decision deprives the Russian athletes of the presumption of innocence and rather establishes a presumption of guilt, but one that is rebuttable by the athletes on an individual basis.
The decision to allow Russian athletes to take part in the Games comes after a final review by a three-member IOC panel. But more than 100 remain barred from competing in track and field, weightlifting and rowing events. RT's Ilya Petrienko reports from Rio.
It's a moment of true joy and success for the clean athletes who at some point were almost stripped of their right for presumption of innocence. The World Anti-Doping Agency really turned this into a nightmare for the entire team. The July report came out and WADA was quick to call on the International Olympic Committee to ban every single Russian Olympic athlete. Then it was followed by similar calls from the European media, some of them really ganged up on Russia. The International Olympic Committee, though, chose to be fair to the innocent ones.
This is not a decision of helping somebody here or helping somebody there. This is a decision of justice. You know, there is a saying, justice has to be blind. It's a decision of the IOC, which is widely supported.
Anyway, the good news for Team Russia now is that after leaving almost a third of its members behind, despite all this psychological misery, they are moving on to compete for these Olympic medals. And the only thing that can stop them now is their actual sport rivals. But the paradox is that among them, there will be people from other countries who have been implicated in doping. And that's what I asked people about when I was walking around Rio. Right now I'm on the famous Copacabana beach in Rio, and here I've got with me two photos of the stars in track and field. This is Russian superstar pole vaulter Yelena Isinbayeva, two-time Olympic champion who never tested positive in doping. And this is Tyson Gay from the US. His silver Olympic medal from London was taken away from him after he was caught for doping. Well, Tyson Gay is going to take part in the Olympics this time, and Yelena Isinbayeva is banned. So, going to Rio, not going to Rio. Do you by any chance know who these people are?
Tyson Gay and Isinbayeva.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh, that's Gay, yeah. And she looks familiar too.
Do you know who's taking part in this year's Olympics and who's not?
She's not taking part because she's from Russia.
He's going to participate.
What about her? She's been banned, yeah. You think that's fair?
Why was she banned?
Well, she was banned because it was kind of like collective punishment for the whole Russian track and field team after the doping scandal. All of them got banned. You must have heard about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think about it?
That's not right. That's not right.
They're just generalizing the Russians, so it's not fair that they don't take it separately.
Doping is doping.
Well, she never tested positive for doping. That's the thing.
Yes, but it's the problem of the country.
She said.
So I think that one for all for one. That if the government does allow it, then they need to take the blame for it.
What do you guys think? Does that sound right to you?
Not really. No, it doesn't.
So, politics aside, most people I've spoken to here say that this Rio lineup should have been changed to this.
Well, anti-doping watchdog WADA is being slammed for sexing up the case against Russian athletes in a wake of decisive drugs report. Some competitors whose alleged positive tests were used to support that report have actually shown no evidence whatsoever of doping. An unnamed senior sports official told the Australian newspaper that they didn't know all the details when making their decision.
We were asked to make a judgment about Russian competitors based on McLaren's report, but without having any of the detail to understand the significance of them being named. Now, to be told that there were 4 different categories, why weren't we told this at the very beginning? It's a mess, and it's WADA's fault.
Well, even the author of WADA's report himself now says the International Olympic Committee has completely misunderstood his claims. Richard McLaren said that the report has been used to, quote, hunt for people supposed to be doping, which wasn't, of course, the goal in the first place. He added the debate is focused on the pursuit of individual athletes. Sports expert Ellis Cashmore says that WADA discredited itself with the report.
The World Anti-Doping Agency would appear to have fallen down on its duty. Its duty, of course, is to catch cheating athletes, catch athletes who take dope. It hasn't done this. It's relied on the word of a whistleblower, in other words, an informant. And its investigation really proceeded from the words of an informant, not from a dope test. I wouldn't be surprised if after the Olympic Games there is a period of reflection and people wonder whether WADA is fulfilling its purpose and come to the conclusion that maybe it should be disbanded.